I mean, when we talk about medical, beyond the puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, the next step, at least in my research, is the first parts of surgery. And um, I know certain insurance companies would cover it, but uh, we don't have to name all of them because there's certainly a lot of surgeries that people can take, and they can choose that on their own with their endocrinologist, and that's a personal decision. But
Yes.
when we look at the overall transition, how much are we looking at if you had to cover it all on your own?
Wow.
And how long of a process is that overall,
Okay. Good
like
question.
total?
Yes. It normally it would be about the same amount of time as it takes for a cisgender or natal girl to go through puberty development. As you know, you may hear the term blossoming into a young woman. Um, I like to joke that once I started my transition out in Southern California, um, at that time I was about 46, 47 years of age. I used to joke that I was a 13-year-old, 47-year-old, because I'm going through that puberty. You actually really go through that second puberty. You start to develop the way that cisgender girls and women develop. You go through those same growing pains. So yeah, it's a process that usually can play out up to 2 years, 3 years, the same amount of time it takes for a cisgendered girl to develop.
And I mean, obviously, puberty in a cisgender person doesn't really have a cost other than, buying bigger clothing so that they can grow into, or tampons, or so on and so forth. Um, but for a trans person, it's monumentally more if insurance won't cover that.
Yes.
Are we talking more like $5,000? Are we talking more like $500,000?
Oh, no, 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 not five. You're talking more probably along the lines of the $5,000 range. Through life, you're never going to stop paying for those hormones. Hopefully, you have insurance that'll cover those, so they can get pretty expensive a year. Again, for me, estrogen I know is not really that expensive anymore. Maybe it'll cost you about $20 a month, but then you're taking, you know, uh, uh, hormone inhibitors like spironolactone in my case, which could cost roughly about the same amount of money, $15 to $25, depends on where you are per month. So now you're up to about $50, $60 a month just for those if you're paying out of pocket. Uh, Add in perhaps a lot of people don't encourage it. By people I mean endocrinologists are still trying to figure out the ramifications of taking progesterone in a predominantly male body. Introducing that, there are concerns about um, breast cancer or blood clots and things of that nature, because with everything there's a risk. Everything, for me, I've got to watch that. I get my blood taken every 3 months to make sure that there are no clots, make sure that the levels of everything are uh, on pace the way they're supposed to. Make sure those levels are, and they can adjust the levels in your body. For me, I want my estrogen level to be as high as humanly possible and safe, and my testosterone as low as possible, as long as it's safe. So, and they're pretty much delivering that to me. So, yeah, my body's pretty much been going in the direction that I've always knew it would, and it's a uplifting and very happy time for me.
I mean, when we talk about it, it's uh, all in. It just sounds like there's always a big cost to being trans. There's always, not just in money, if insurance, or even with insurance, it's still a hassle to get them to pay for it. Um, but uh, just the time involved in having to think about this seemingly on a daily basis of, I need to remember to take that medication in order to stay my true self.
Yeah.
Um, how burdensome is that weight on a trans person?
A lot of my trans sisters, we go into this thinking that, everything is going to happen overnight. You got to be prepared to and know that it's a waiting game. Everything in life really truly is. Anything that's good in life is worth waiting for, and this is going to roll out over a period of years between experimenting with your gender, being comfortable with who you are, how you're presenting, how the hormones are now kicking in and making those changes, outwardly. You want to make, those adjustments and, roll with those punches. They're good punches, albeit, but, it is a time consuming process. Be aware of that and be ready for it. Everything, just exercise patience. Yeah.
Still not enough rainbows? Click here to see more weekly episodes of Powered by Rainbows, Semester 4, only on MHP TV.